Where you going?
Expert. Ask the expert.
All right, I'm asking the expert. Where are we going? What are we doing?
We're going to look at a ruin in a promontory in the water. And
a ruin and a promontory in the water. There you go.
Kilchurn Castle.
Kilchurn Castle.
Now, what
and the history of this is 15th century?
15th century.
15th century. There you go. So it's a few hundred years old. Bits of rock of cultural significance to nobody in particular. But that's what you do. You go and look at some rocks. This is what you do when you come to Scotland. You go hiking upon mountain tops, valleys, valley floors, muddy rivers, riverbeds, and you go in hunt of wrecks and ruins, and that's just the women. So you look for these castles and you hope that someone will tell you what they're all for, and often as not, they're not for anything in particular. They were just put there to give a photo opportunity for future tourists. They were very forward thinking, these old Picts. But I'm not so sure any of these people were Picts around here. Who knows what they were? So ignorant of Scottish history are we in England, especially when you're in Scotland. You can see why they're trying to be independent, but of course it all costs money, and that's basically why they weren't independent, because the Act of Union in 1706, I do believe, was all to do with, what was it, 1806, all to do with paying off the debts of all the Scottish MPs in Edinburgh, and giving them a ride down south to London, where they all went and made an enormous amount of money after the Empire. If you go around Hong Kong, all the street names and such like are Scottish. Go around Malaysia, you find similarly who were the people that were running the place in the 19th century? Scotsmen. Go to India, Scotsmen. All over the place. This is why all these places have bagpipe bands in their army. The Indian army, the Pakistani army, all trained by Scotsmen. Glasgow was made enormously wealthy by the British Empire. Notice it's the British Empire, not the English Empire. But once the empire's crumbled, everybody's thinking, hang on, who's getting the bulk of our money at the moment? It's all going down to London. Hence, somewhat the debate about whether they should still hang around the UK. But look at the trouble the UK's got into just ducking out of Europe. So, ducking out of the UK, I'm sure that would cause even more trouble. Not so sure it caused much trouble down in London, but I'm sure it would cause a bit of financial hardship or opportunities for financial skullduggery, one or the other. Anyway, here's the castle. And somewhere in there, there'll be a sign that will tell us what it's all about. Who owned it, who built it, who wrecked it, or whether they're still waiting for the builders to turn up and finish the job.
What do we know then?
It's falling down. That's what it tells us. don't go anywhere near
Okay.
because it's fallen down.
It's been quite grand in its day.
Right. It was constructed in the mid-15th century as the base for the Campbells of Glenorchy, who extended both the castle and their territory in the area over the next 150 years.
Maybe this is where they were before they moved to Inverary.
Could be. After the Campbells became Earls of Breadalbane, or Breadalbane, or Breadalbane, or Breadalbane, or any of the above and below, and moved to Tynemouth Castle. Kilchurn fell out of use and was in ruins by 1770. It is now in the care of the Historic Environment of Scotland and is open to the public in summer, except it isn't anymore because it's fallen down. So there you go. That's the basic history, 15th century till 1760, frequently destroyed by lightning. Bit of history here. Right, the Campbells of Glenorchy were the most powerful cadet branch of the Clan Campbell, and over the 2 centuries from the 1430s came to dominate the Central Highlands. The building of several castles, of which Kilchurn was the first, was a key part of their territorial expansion during the period. Sir Colin Campbell, first of Glenorchy, died 1475, was the younger son of Duncan Campbell, First Lord Campbell, ancestor of the Earls of Argyll. Sir Colin was granted Glenorchy and other lands by his father in 1432 and afterwards established Kilchurn round 1450. There you go. History, blah, 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 blah. You can look it up on Wikipedia. That's as much as I can tell you. Anyway. Campbells. History of the Campbells. Oh. Sir Duncan Campbell, 1550 to 1631, known as Black Duncan. He always has these great names. I wonder why he was called that. Perhaps he didn't wash. He represented Argyll in the Scottish Parliament. Well, there you are. That's probably why it's called Black Campbell.
I'm at Loch Lomond.
Right, it must be time to put out another one of those calls to action that they talk about on YouTube. So, don't forget to wash your hands, brush your teeth, and take good exercise. Oh, and subscribe. All that stuff.